The first product type we're going to evaluate are vinyl products that are part of the resilient flooring family. I wanted to show this to you because I don't think many designers may even know that vinyl actually comes predominantly from salt. And salt is actually mined, and it doesn't come from seawater or other resources. It's actually mined, and it's a mound of salt that has developed naturally. They use hot water extraction actually to mine the salt that is used. So in terms of evaluating products, that's one of the reasons that Louisiana and the Gulf Coast has PVC plants in it, is because it has these mounds of salt that are then used for mined, and they're used to create and evaluate the product types for developing chlorine and the byproduct of caustic. Caustic is then used, even though it is a byproduct, but it's used in the industrial chemistry world as well as in the building products world, and is an ingredient in many different things. So it's good to understand that the byproducts are all used. So when salt is separated into caustic and chlorine, both products are utilized and in process. So chlorine is a basic raw material. It is used for various different types of things in terms of water treatment and pharmaceuticals and the like. And then from natural gas, ethylene is created from the natural gas when it's separated. So chlorine and ethylene come together to create vinyl chloride monomer. The monomer is then put together in a PVC resin polymerization process. That's where PVC resin comes from. PVC resin can be in pellets, it can be in powders, it can be in different formulations. And then it's combined in the compounding process with fillers, additives, modifiers, stabilizers, and plasticizers. If you're looking at it from a flooring perspective, you would also have different specialty top coats. So there are rigid flooring products that are applications that are vinyl that we will cover, as well as flexible vinyl applications that we will also cover. We're going to start with vinyl composition tile as the product type. And for performance, vinyl composition tile has a ASTM F1066 is the performance standard. So there's a performance standard for each type of resilient flooring that I think is good for everyone to be aware of, so that when you're looking at those performance characteristics, you can also see what the performance is and what the methodology that's utilized for that performance. And I think understanding that better also provides us insights as to what the best product for the application is. So when we're looking at the production of VCT, there's two lines, one called the model line, which is those little chips that are made up that go into the final product, and then the mixture, overall mixture that creates the product itself, and in which that is then has an application of a finish and then is punch pressed into usually squares. 12 by 12 squares is what we're most commonly known, but there are other shapes as well. So VCT is a mixture of natural limestone, filler materials, thermoplastic binder, and color pigments. It's made by fusing those chips into solid sheets. So it's that model line process of the chips that then is included into the solid sheets and cutting them into tiles. VCT requires layers of polish to protect its porous surface because it's predominantly limestone is the main ingredient that is utilized in VCT. So when you look at the actual construction of VCT, it has the durable through pattern PVC wear layer and then a coating that is utilized to resist scratching and chemical resistance. Installation, although composition tile is a little bit thicker than some products, it is still just as important to make sure that the subfloor is smooth and is ready for installation in terms of all the things we talked about under the project conditions section. So advantages of vinyl composition tile include the modular flexibility. It does have large format shapes, sizes, and colors. It is a through pattern product, which means that when you have something happen at a surface, it still is all the way through the product in terms of the patterning and the design. It withstands heavy foot and rolling traffic, and many products include a factory finish. It has a very reasonable first cost, which is why it is often specified, particularly for budgets that are incredibly tight. The next product category we're going to discuss is homogeneous sheet vinyl. Sheet vinyl from a performance perspective is evaluating through ASTM F1913. So this is the performance methodology that would want to be evaluated in terms of the test methods. In terms of production, it is a sheet product, so that basically you are mixing everything together, going through the extruder, going through the granulator, and then that is then utilized as part of a scattering process in the sheet vinyl production. It goes through a temper machine, which does have the heating part of that element, and then it creates the sheet flooring. Then the sheet flooring is rolled and then boxed and ready to go. Sometimes it's shipped also just being wrapped because it is in a sheet format. A terminology issue that I want to just bring about is where it says relaxation and lacquering. Lacquering is something that is utilized more in Europe and the UK. In the US, that may be a terminology called urethane that you may be familiar with, or wear layer. So when you see those terms, those are somewhat interchangeable in terms of what we're talking about. So that's the terminology that's used in Europe. Some of these diagrams have come from IRFME, which is the European version of the Resilient Floor Covering Institute, and they have production diagrams that we utilize as a basis for these diagrams. Therefore, we kept the same consistent nomenclature of lacquering throughout, but urethane and wear layer are two other terms that are utilized for this. It's a through pattern PVC wear layer that is part of the sheet itself, and then it has specialty top coats. The installation considerations that govern vinyl sheet products do not vary significantly from homogeneous to heterogeneous, but there are some subtle nuances. When heat welding, homogeneous vinyl is less sensitive to heat and therefore has more tolerance from showing scorch or burn marks if heat welded incorrectly. Homogeneous vinyl may provide slightly lower margin of error for subfloor prep, though, because of no patterns or embossing, which you do have in heterogeneous. There is a greater propensity to telegraph imperfections in the subfloor. The smoother and more monochrome the vinyl is, the more it shows imperfections on the subfloor. So again, reinforcing that that's really important. You can also see the level of detail. So when you're really cutting and verifying how the installation is going to occur, homogeneous sheet vinyl, as on any sheet, would really require a lot of attention to detail and making sure that it's installed correctly. Various advantages for homogeneous is through color construction provides even wear and a consistent appearance over time. It is very durable under heavy rolling loads, and seams can be heat welded. The product can be flash cove for more efficient cleaning, which is consistent with other sheet products as well. So heterogeneous flooring is basically a layered process. It has a different performance standard, ASTM F1303, and it has a different type of production method. So plastisol, which is a liquid mixture of PVC, dispersion of PVC resin, plasticizers and fillers, and additives that has a consistency of a paste. The paste, or plastisol, is applied by a coating process and transformed into the solid state by heating. This is called gelification in the diagram shown. And so heterogeneous can also be calendared, similar to homogeneous sheet vinyl, but this gives you an opportunity to see that there's multiple layers that come together that are put into the product, and you'll see that in the construction diagram. So there's a fiberglass reinforced base. In some heterogeneous products, there's also this performance layer that gives you the visual and the texture, the designer printed visual. So this is the technology has done some great things for the vinyl industry because of being able to get these great high resolution digital printed visuals. And so then a specialty top coat would then go over that as well. So there are a variety of structures. This diagram is representative of one of the heterogeneous sheet vinyl flooring structures. Some do not include the designer printed visual layer, and there are those with and without some type of backing cloth. So it's just good to know that this is an example of the construction, but you can see that it's multi-layered versus homogeneous, that is a single layer with a top coat. The installation considerations that govern the vinyl sheet products, like we talked about, for heterogeneous, it is not as for heat welding, is more sensitive to heat. So it has less tolerance compared to what you would have with homogeneous. Heterogeneous vinyl may provide slightly higher margin of error for subfloor prep because it is embossed and the patterns are inherent to the vinyl. So it has a greater propensity to not telegraph the imperfections as you would have with homogeneous in the subfloor. So we know that the texture helps basically in terms of evaluating anything that might be a problem or an imperfection in the subfloor from coming through and telegraphing. So the technological advancements with not only authentic wood and stone visuals, but you also have other abstracts and other types of patterning that are utilized. The technology advancements have really allowed these products to be much more attractive in terms of just the aesthetics, and the variety of aesthetics, I think, is really the point. It is available in wide widths for seamless installation. It has seamless flooring with excellent top-down moisture protection. It comes in both loose lay and direct glue down installation, and it really is beautifully responsible. Solid vinyl tile is another category, although others fall within some of the same ASTM methods, just in a different method or class. So solid vinyl performance is ASTM F1700 in class 1. So there's two ways that you can make solid vinyl tile. One is the homogeneous sheet calendaring that we showed you earlier for the sheet product, and that sheet product is then cut into squares and into tiles. So that's how one way of doing production for solid vinyl tile. Another production method is actually to start out with knowing that you're going to make it into tiles, and it's actually put into molds. And so the molds are utilized to be able to create the tiles themselves. They are still cut, but they are a thicker piece that comes out. That thicker piece is split, and that front part of the split, when you're splitting it apart, is actually the finished portion of the tile that is shown. So it basically is a different type of method in terms of evaluating how you make it, in terms of making it directly into tiles. And so the molds are then calendared similarly. There is a heat process that they go through, and then the product is actually cut in two. And that thickness allows the product to then be evaluated for the finished surface to be the part that is cut. So basically where the cut split is, that's the surface that is the finished surface for the solid vinyl tile. There's through pattern solid vinyl tile, and it's simply that, with usually with not an additional coating. The installation considerations that govern solid vinyl tile, it's similar to vinyl sheet products, but there's less weight to manage because of the smaller sizes of the tiles, which can range in various sizes. It's the best of both worlds in many ways. Solid vinyl tile has similar product construction properties and weight in terms of the product itself, in terms of the sheet vinyl. So it's lighter than VCT, and it doesn't have a wax requirement that's utilized. It's flexible, so it can also be coved and welded. So similar to the sheet vinyls that you saw for both heterogeneous and homogeneous. It's easier to create floor pattern designs without having to do water jet cutting because you have smaller format pieces to utilize. But it can be if it needs to be. So that has both options. And there is a perception of easy replacement of tiles because it can be replaced a tile at a time versus looking at it from an overall sheet perspective. True color construction provides even wear and a consistent appearance over time is one advantage. It can be heat welded and coved into base, even though it's in a smaller format, and it performs under heavy rolling loads. Our next area that we're going to go over in terms of resilient flooring type is LVT, or luxury vinyl tile, or LVP, which is luxury vinyl plank. They're the most popular type of vinyl tile flooring. The appeal includes the versatility of various aesthetics that are available to the advancement of the technology that we talked about earlier. So within the digital market, you can create all types of looks. Wood is probably the most common that we all know, and stone and other natural materials aesthetics are also part of that. For those that prefer the materiality itself to be represented in the product, an opportunity for striae of dark light patterning or abstracts represent but do not directly imitate textiles or materials that are natural materials. So there are three classes within ASTM F1700 standard, and vinyl tile and plank for LVT and LVP are in class 3 solid vinyl floor tile when you're looking at performance information. Understanding the application of the product and the performance needs, not only in healthcare environments as shown in this photo, but throughout all types of settings is critical. This is the example of the production where you can see there's many layers, the top layer, the print film, the core layer, the underlayment, and how it comes together, goes through the heating process and creates sheet flooring that is then cut into various types of tiles. So there's many layers. There's also a glue down version as well as a loose lay version of flexible luxury vinyl tile. And so when we look at that, it has a PVC foundation layer, the print film for the realistic visuals, and this has a performance way layer, and that's how the textures and durability are added to the product, and then specialty types of coatings that are on the top. For loose lay, this is slightly different. It has an anti-slip layer allowing installation without adhesive and easy removal and replacement. There is opportunity sometimes that you may have to have some adhesive on the edges of the floor to start the product, but the goal is for it not to be adhesive used, but to literally be loose lay. The vinyl backing for high pressure resistance, it has a fiberglass veil to minimize expansion and contraction, the middle vinyl layer for extra stability and support, and then a design layer for creating visuals and textures. And then of course the transparent wear layer that's on top. I love the fact that this picture is a pre-revolutionary building and it's a mill. It was in an old mill. It was used to make carriages. And so when they reinvented the space, they used LVT as a component for durability while still preserving the look and the feel of the old redeveloped mill building. It's been 50 years since the building had been occupied. So you want to acclimate to the installation location, humidity and temperature level before installing LVT that is expected for the finished space. Separate into small piles of LVT planks. So you want to be very aware of that when you're getting ready and part of your specification to understand what is the pre-treatment of the product as well as the subfloor treatment to make sure that everything is aligned and ready to go for a successful installation. Glue down installation methods involves the use of an adhesive to adhere your dryback luxury vinyl flooring to the subfloor. Using adhesive creates dimensional stability that ensures the flooring maintains its natural characteristics. The glue down method includes two distinct types of adhesive, hard set and pressure sensitive. Hard set is adhesive is spread along on the floor, then the flooring is laid on top. Pressure sensitive is the flooring product has adhesive on it and it is bonded to the substrate with pressure. For loose lay flexible luxury vinyl tile can be installed over existing floor coverings, which is one of the advantages as well. Vinyl flooring adhered to the edges of a subfloor, then additional planks and tiles are typically laid in place without an adhesive. Loose lay can easily be removed and replaced. This makes loose lay tile an ideal option for areas where flooring may be temporary or have a short lifespan. It allows you to do the replacements and will not damage the substrate, but also the flooring product. So you could reuse the flooring material. Loose lay is ideal for raised access floors. There are some restrictions to this as well, but for the most part, loose lay LVT can easily be installed over most raised access floors, especially those that may require frequent access. Loose lay has a higher sound rating than traditional LVT. When traditional LVT typically will not contribute significantly to sound reduction, loose lay LVT is a thicker product with a textured back that offers improved sound testing results, helpful in corporate, multifamily, or other hospitality installations. Loose lay can butt up to thicker products as well. At 5 millimeters, loose lay tile can butt directly up to a number of thicker products that would normally require a transition, as indicated in our smooth transition section above. Substrate, substrate, substrate. Loose lay LVT is only as good as the substrate is installed over and the installation practices used to install it. So advantages include larger format reduces the pattern repeat that is available, digital capabilities with all the amazing finishes and looks and aesthetics that we have with LVT, and it has design versatility with the sizing and the aesthetic options with durable finish for various applications. So you may find that certain applications may not be appropriate for loose lay versus glue down, and glue down is the more appropriate product to utilize. So understanding what the requirements are and then evaluating the product type and the product that you're going to specify accordingly. There are two types of rigid core flooring, SPC, which is stone, plastic, or polymer composite, and WPC, wood, plastic, or polymer composite. The ASTM standard for this for performance is ASTM F3261, and it is important that you realize that the product has performance characteristics and evaluating them like the other products that we discussed. I also wanted to point out that when we say luxury vinyl tile, one of my technical guys pointed out to me that luxury is a descriptor used for vinyl tile and planks for both flexible as well as rigid core, understanding that it is a descriptor and it doesn't have a technical connection to the product itself. So both products are durable and stable. However, SPC luxury vinyl tile and planks is more durable and denser overall due to its limestone composition. Both work well in commercial interior spaces. WPC is softer and quieter underfoot, while SPC offers better resistance from scratches or dents. So understanding your owner project requirements are very important when you evaluate which to use, SPC or WPC. There's not much of an installation method difference between SPC and WPC LVT, but there's an important distinction between what the installations are and how they are applied. For instance, an intended click-together LVT is similar for SPC and WPC, and if some adhesive is used, the installation should not fully adhere a floating floor. Typically, loose lay is intended not to have adhesive, but some installations may require a partial adherence in a commercial application. But again, if full adherence is required, the product should be changed to use a fully adhered installation. A non-click vinyl plank for a commercial installation does not click together as the edges are butted. So advantages when you're looking at rigid core luxury vinyl tile and plank. Locking systems enable floating installations for residential and light commercial applications. There's no telegraphing of minor subfloor irregularities, and it can go over other existing floorings. Resistance to humidity and temperature variations, and it can be installed over most of different hard surfaces, including ceramic tile. You want to verify that the underlayment and whatever other product is installed is in place, that there aren't any deficiencies that are going to cause a problem for the installation of the rigid core. However, this opportunity to be able to not have any telegraphing through the product is very important as an advantage for that product.